Just a few weeks ago, the Democrats and the media were gloating that angry protesters were taking over Republican town halls. Well, just this week, it's been the Democrats who have been accosted by angry voters. But that got me to wondering, where's the mainstream media? Where is the coverage of all of this? Why isn't as much attention being given to these disruptive and rowdy Democrat town halls as there was during the Republican town halls? So, in this video, I'm going to do the job that the media is refusing to do. According to Huffington Post, at Angry Town Hall, Democrat representative calls for Chuck Schumer's ouster. Now, you'll take a look at how they frame this. The focus here, yes, they do reference an Angry Town Hall, but the focus is on how Maryland Representative Glenn Ivey is calling for Chuck Schumer's ouster. The focus isn't on how disruptive, how rowdy this town hall was, but this is what it looked like inside.
He just asked me about this. He just asked me about that. I'm going to answer his question. I'm going to answer his question. I'm going to answer his question. You'll get a turn. You will get a turn. But it's not your turn. It's his turn.
So this entire interaction actually went on for 2 minutes. She doesn't leave just yet. She keeps shouting. They keep having this back and forth, and you'll see security coming to her. Now, here is where things actually get crazier than her outburst right there. It turns out, so his staff released a statement. They escorted her out of the building, not because of her disruption, but they escorted her out for a medical check. Yeah, I suppose if a mental breakdown is a medical check, sure, check on her, but to me, she should have been escorted out for that behavior. She was disrupting a town hall. He couldn't even get a word in. She was just shouting over him, and hey, he was on the microphone. You heard it, and her voice carried throughout that entire stadium. But it wasn't just her. Many people there. There was actually one person who basically accused Representative Ivey of not doing enough. She wanted him to break the law. She was encouraging him to perform acts of civil disobedience.
Being polite with us, but when it comes to fighting these fights, we need you to be a little bit less polite, a little bit more hell no instead of a little bit no.
Fair enough.
And there may be a time when you and other congresspeople need to do civil disobedience. You need to be arrested.
Sure.
And I will go with you. I will stand next to you and be arrested.
You need to do civil disobedience. You need to be arrested. And his response is sure. He's not pushing back, talking about the mechanisms that exist within the government to be able to fight back against actions that you don't like. That's the whole purpose of a civilized society. And he just instead of taking any leadership, instead of having any sort of clear conviction, just sure, okay. I mean, who is running the show here? I get that representatives are supposed to speak and, of course, represent their voters, but the fact that the Democrats don't have a backbone right now, because instead of trying to quell the flames, they're just pouring gasoline on the fire, and that's why we're seeing such not just divisive rhetoric, but violent actions from the left. The easiest example being, of course, the torching of Teslas and all these Tesla dealerships that are under attack. It's only a matter of time until someone gets seriously hurt, and the Democrats are going to have no one but themselves to blame. You know, it shouldn't be a surprise that the media is ginning up all this outrage, right? But the fact that Democrat leaders can't tell their constituents, hey, we need to tone it down. We can't keep accelerating forward as if there's no off-ramp, that is going to be very dangerous for our society. Last but not least, as far as Representative Ivey is concerned, one of his constituents actually threatened to primary him. Sure, he didn't mention Representative Ivey specifically, but the threat was definitely there. And hey, if the Democrats want to keep going further to the left, want to keep running more AOCs and more people like the squad, go for it, because I don't think that's going to work out so well.
We are not interested in hearing that you are in the minority. We know that. We want you to show some of the backbone and strategic brilliance that Mitch McConnell would have in the minority.
Right.
We want you to show fight, and you are not fighting. We are on the front lines, and you are talking about 2026. Democrats should win in 2026, but those Democrats may need to be the people who beat incumbents in primaries for being too passive now. If you want airtime, be disruptive. You voted correctly on the CR. Please take the message to your colleagues. We must primary those who are against us, and we feel that Democrats in Congress are against us. This must change, Congressman. This must change.
Yeah, that gentleman actually gave it away at the very end when he said, if you want more airtime, be more disruptive. I mean, Representative Ivey is a congressman. It's his job to, help write the law. That's the job of Congress. His job isn't to have more airtime. No one accomplishes anything on TV except maybe preaching to the choir, unless you're actively going out there trying to earn votes or trying to change minds. There's just no point to it. So essentially what that man wants him to do is go out there and do some performative art. Oh, just show that you're angry, show that you're more passionate. I mean, that's why the lady before him was talking about, do some acts of civil disobedience, get arrested, because that's what they want to see. But again, that raises the question, who is inciting the base to want all of this? Who is putting this out there into their minds so that this is what they want? And it would be one thing if this was just a localized issue, but this is happening everywhere. So that happened in Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C., but according to Politico, Democrats expected to skewer GOP cuts at town halls. Instead, they faced angry constituents. So this actually also happened in Arizona, where Senators Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego sat down. MSNBC covered it, but of course, they toned it down for their audience. We know MSNBC is returning to its Democrat roots. Well, they did show this on TV, and they actually messed it up. Take a look.
What started as a town hall about potential Republican cuts to Medicaid quickly transitioned into voters pleading with Arizona's Democratic senators to put up more of a fight in Donald Trump's Washington.
They fight dirtier, and we're not willing to get in the mud with them. Maybe it's time we start getting a little bit dirtier with our messaging, because
they don't care if people suffer. We want you to be straight with us. How do we go to the next?
Obviously, we went to the space, which we did not intend to do, but that gives us a sense of it. Melanie Zanona, who's on Capitol Hill for us. So you have Mark Kelly.
Again, just convenience. Oh, let's cut away to space before the footage gets even worse. Well, since they did cut away to space, that allows for a good tangent, because I haven't yet talked about the astronauts coming back to Earth. But again, just a few weeks ago, the Democrats, AOC, and others were talking about how stupid Elon Musk is. Well, thanks to Elon Musk, and thanks to his work, the astronauts have returned back to Earth. But the media, the Democrats, predictably are not giving him any credit. In fact, just before making this video, I Googled Elon Musk astronauts, and take a look what I saw on Google. Also in the news, the New York Times, Elon Musk rescued the astronauts. So what? Okay, way to diminish this historic moment, not to mention an awesome rescue. And then MSNBC, Elon Musk can't take too much credit for bringing NASA astronauts home. Yeah, well, without him, it wouldn't have happened. So take that, Democrats. Well, last but not least, over in Colorado, and Colorado has been a reliably blue state over the last few election cycles. Well, according to the Gazette, a town hall hosted by Democrat Senator Michael Bennet and Democrat Representative Brittany Peterson, where tensions ran high as some constituents voiced their frustrations with the lawmakers. So this first one, you will notice some of the outrage. A lot of it is anger, not when it comes to the CR, but when it comes to foreign policy and support of Israel. This is what that looked like.
Brittany! How can you fight a dictator when you've been arming a dictator for a year and a half? How many more billions are you going to send to Israel? Hey, shut it! Hey, Brittany! How many more bombs are you going to send to Israel? How can you fight a dictator when you're arming a dictator?
Now, in this particular town hall, they didn't actually allow for questions. What they did was they opened an online portal, and people had to submit their questions beforehand. The questions were screened, and then they answered those questions at the supposed town hall. I thought the whole point of these gatherings was for those unscripted moments, to have those exchanges with your constituents and to hear feedback from the people you represent. But anytime the people tried to speak up, Brittany asked the venue staff to turn on the music.
Many questions were submitted in advance, so we're going to be taking those questions for the panel.
Performative bullshit! Let's turn on the music!
let's turn on the music. And turn on the music they did, and that's why it got so rowdy and people started walking out at the end there, as you saw. Now, before I play these final two clips, I want to give a shout out to today's Governors Club members: RL1401, Sandy J708. Thank you so much for your support. All of you have been so gracious, and it really makes these videos possible. So thank you for that. It really makes my day whenever I see those, for the super thanks and the tips to the channel. So a few videos ago, I exposed how a lot of the disruptions and the protests at the Republican town halls appeared to be astroturfed. They appeared to be organized by the left. Well, during an interview today on PBS, Chuck Schumer seemed to accidentally admit, now he didn't admit this nationwide, he was talking specifically about New York, but he accidentally revealed that the Democrats are mobilizing in these red districts. And makes you wonder, if they're doing that in New York, why wouldn't they be doing that nationwide?
In 2017, when he was last here, Nancy Pelosi and I said we're going to go after him on health care. He was very unpopular with that. We're going to go after him on tax breaks for the rich. And then we won the House and picked up some seats in the Senate in 2018. Same thing is going to happen now. And we're going to go after him in so many different ways. We are doing much better on the social media, led by Cory Booker and Tina Smith in our House. And so we're reaching people who were not reached before. We are mobilizing in New York. We have people going to the Republican districts and going after these Republicans who are voting for this and forcing them to either change their vote or face the consequences. This is a long, relentless fight that we fight every day. And I am confident that we will bring Trump's popularity, numbers, and strength down if we keep at it and keep at it and keep at it.
There are those. There you have it. The Senate Minority Leader, in his own words, admitting that they are mobilizing protesters and disruptors to go into Republican districts in New York. And like I said before that clip, if they're doing that there, why wouldn't they do that across the nation? New York, if they can do that in New York, they can definitely do that in a place like Arizona or Colorado. They definitely, and even in that same segment he was referring to, we're doing so much better on social media. I mean, disruptions and protesters make for great social media content. It's almost as if they have a strategy. It's almost as if they're trying to flood the airwaves and flood the internet with these clips. But that's why I'm making this video, because the same thing is happening to Democrats. And unlike with Republicans, what's happening with Democrats appears to be organic. These are angry voters. There is no evidence that I've seen of the GOP bankrolling or paying or mobilizing people to disrupt the Democrat town halls. So there is a huge difference in the disturbances on both sides. Last but not least, there has been a lot of talk today about the Tesla attacks. People have been torching the dealerships, vandalizing them, breaking inside. And Trump has announced that sort of action is actually domestic terrorism. Well, Harris Faulkner was speaking with Caroline Levitt on Fox News, and she put out a hypothetical statement, and the media, the Democrats as well as content creators, are spinning this out of context and trying to use this as evidence that Trump is a dictator and he's going to start killing people left and right. Let's just watch this together, and then we'll reconvene at the end.
If there's someone in one of these cars, they blow up. That can happen. That becomes murder, or worse, terrorism plus. And I know that on January 20th, the president signed into law, through an executive order, restoring the death penalty. Do you think this sort of thing, and I hate to think it, people leave their children and pets in cars. I mean, you don't know. This is deadly, dangerous stuff these liberal protesters are playing with.
Yes, it is, Harris. And what I can tell you is that President Trump condemns this violence, and he is determined to restore law and order in our country, and he will ensure that the harshest penalties are pursued for those who are engaging in this vicious violence that we have seen targeted at this American company, Tesla dealerships.
Yeah, so very clearly the context there is what happens if and when someone gets hurt. And that's a very valid point about leaving your dog or a child in a car. And Tesla's, By the way, they do have a ton of automation features. I know they have a dog feature where you can safely leave your dog in the car, and it monitors the both external and internal temperature, and you can adjust it on your phone, and that way you ensure everyone's safe inside. What's to say that someone's not going to throw a Molotov cocktail with passengers inside or shoot up a car while people are driving it? If they are vandalizing the cars this blatantly without any pushback, it's only a matter of time until someone actually gets hurt. And that's all they were talking about there. That is law and order. If you murder, if you harm someone else, you deserve the consequences. So for the left to spin that statement, to spin that hypothetical out of context, just really shows how desperate they are. But as always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what is your take on all these protesters disrupting the Democrat town halls? Do you love it? Are you worried that this is going to lead to even more radical Democrats? Like, are they going to primary people? Do you think it shows the disunity and discontent in the party? And do you think that's good for Republicans in 2026? I think there are so many ways to read the tea leaves. And this far out from an election, obviously, the leaves are still settling into place. But what's your read? What's your take on things right now? For those of you who are religious and pray, I got permission to share this. I haven't shared it on the channel before, but my mom had a neurosurgical procedure earlier today, and it went well. I visited her at the hospital, and I'm about to go back to spend some time of the night with her. But she is in great spirits, and she was just asking for everyone to say a prayer of thanks to God for Thanksgiving that the procedure went well. She already feels a huge difference with the neurological issues, nerve issues that she was facing. She says it's like day and night, which is a great thing. That's exactly what we were hoping to hear, and just praying for a smooth recovery. So yeah, thank you for anyone who prays. And if you want to leave a word of encouragement in the comments, she does read my comments. A lot of times she'll actually read the comments and not watch the videos. So if you leave a comment of encouragement for her down below, she will definitely see that. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers just like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.